All right. It's great to be here today. My name again is Brian Casto. I am the 2022 West Virginia Teacher of the Year. I grew up in a small town that had 2 traffic lights. Yes, 2. So growing up in a small town, oftentimes you can feel like there's not really a place there for you. Maybe you've outgrown that area. But growing up in this small town of Madison down in Boone County, I learned a lot about hard work. I learned a lot about community. And some of the things that really stick out to me growing up there were some of the teachers that I had in my life. You know, growing up, my dad was a coal miner. He was a coal miner for 26 years. And he told me, I will support you in anything you do, but you will not be a coal miner like me. And so I knew one thing that I couldn't do, but then I had to think to myself, what am I going to do? And that's the great thing about West Virginia is that community. And growing up in this small town, I can tell you that there were people in my life that really came around at the exact time that I needed them there. There were teachers, for instance, Mr. Epling, who was this incredible 11th grade history teacher who made history come to life. He told it in a way that made you feel like you were part of it. It was a story. It was not just pages in a book. It was not a worksheet. It was not just a video clip here and there. But he made you feel like you were part of that story. And it really just inspired me to become a teacher. It made me love history. And after that, I thought to myself, okay, I want to be a teacher, I'm pretty sure, but maybe there's something else. I don't know. So I tried to diversify myself. In my junior year, I went to the vocational school, and I took 2 years of mechanical drafting. And while there, I had a teacher. His name was Kobe Coburn, and he was a civil engineer who graduated with a 4.0 from West Virginia Tech, top of his class, and he came back to this small town and was teaching drafting to a bunch of high school kids. And I couldn't believe that this guy with all these credentials would come back to West Virginia, but he did. And I never had the guts to ask him, you're so successful, you have all these like degrees and everything, why did you come back? Until my senior year, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna finally ask him, because by then, I'd had 4 classes there. I kind of knew a little bit about him. He knew a lot about me. So I asked him, I said, why, of all the places that you could go to, all the things you could do in life, why did you come back to Madison, West Virginia? And he told me, he said, you know, there's a lot of places I could have gone. I was offered a lot of jobs whenever I first graduated from college. But this is home. This is where I'm from. These are the people that poured into my life. These are the people who helped me become who I am. And I decided that I wanted to build my life and my career here and to give back to my community, still do the things that I want to do, but do it in a place that needs me. And that really just had an impact on me as I went to college, as I went to Marshall University. I thought to myself, I'm going to go back to Madison. But when I graduated, things didn't work out exactly like that. I ended up not going back to Madison, but I stuck around in the Huntington area. But something that I've learned is the value of that community. You know, anytime I think about Madison, it's just an hour and a half down the road. And the beautiful thing about West Virginia is that that small town, that community, if you decide to stick around that community or be part of that community, you can have a huge impact on it because no one knows that community better than the people who were raised there, the people who grew up there. You know what works, you know what doesn't work, and you know how to plug yourself in to make the biggest difference that can be made. And, you know, along with that is even if you don't go back to the exact community you're from, the wonderful thing about West Virginia is no matter where you go in West Virginia, someone knows the same person that you know. Everywhere you go, you'll meet somebody and be like, hey, do you know old John Smith down there in Dale Barton? And it's like, well, I don't know him, but I think I know this person, and you name that person, and like, boom. They're like, oh, yeah, that's my second cousin. Like, that's just how West Virginia works if you didn't know that. And you don't think about that, but the wonderful thing about this sense of community is no matter where you're at in our state, even if you don't go back to your specific hometown, is that those connections, you don't realize it, but all throughout your life, you were building a network. All those people who pour into your life, all those people you meet, all those connections you make are things that can help you later in life. And maybe you're not doing it at the time because you're thinking, hey, in the future, this is going to help me out. But those connections you make later in life go a long way. You know, whenever you meet someone from West Virginia, you immediately let your guard down because you don't feel like they're someone from like out of town. Like you know that you have this commonality, you have this common identity, something that connects you. And that's what's awesome about our state, is that as part of that community, you're all connected. And I love the Huntington area where I live right now. And what I love about it is, even though it's a large city for West Virginia, it's the second largest city in the state, it's really easy to get connected. You know, all the people that I've met there, they have common people that we both know from Madison, from Boone County. And I've been able to like take those connections, and it's been able to help me. It's been able to help my family. And what's awesome as well is that in our state, my bread and butter, the things that I do, I teach West Virginia studies. And it just happened that this job opened up. I took this job because I love our state. I feel like as a West Virginia history teacher, I'm kind of like an ambassador for the state. I joke with people at the tourism department that basically they should be paying me because I'm helping do their job for them. And they said, well, we appreciate you doing that, but not so much about that paycheck. So I'm still waiting on that. But I do love our state. And what's amazing about our state is that we have a lot to offer. You know, during the 2020 COVID pandemic, a lot of people came to West Virginia, of all places. Okay, West Virginia's stock is up. People have taken notice. Through social media, through Instagram, people have seen the beauty that lies in our state. Not only do we have a rich environment for business, but we also have all kinds of outdoor activities. Whether you like hiking or biking or snowboarding or just going for a walk outdoors, our state has all of it. And that's what's unique about our area, is that during this pandemic, people from large cities came to West Virginia of all the places they could go. And a lot of these people were able to still have their jobs in those large areas, but they were able to do those jobs here in our state, so that whenever they step out of their apartment, their house, they have all this nature. And what's been at the forefront of our country the last couple of years is, you know, the stresses of the pandemic, the stresses of the economy. Mental health is in the news. And one of the things they always recommend to help with all those factors is getting outdoors. And I cannot stress enough how much our state has to offer. We have 35 state parks that are all free. If you go to other states, if you didn't know this, you might be shocked whenever you just drive up to a state park off the side of the road and there's a gate and you have to pay just to drive into the state park. Maybe you're just wanting to go there and have a picnic or just see what was there, but you got to pay. West Virginia is not like that. You know, a lot of places in our state have little slogans for their town, and a lot of them center on nature's playground. You know, there's the famous quote, "I hear the mountains calling and I must go." Well, West Virginia is those mountains, and a lot of people are coming to this area because of all that it has to offer. And again, as part of that, I've been very fortunate to make videos, West Virginia history in 2 minutes or less, as well as travel videos, Where in West Virginia is Mr. Casto. And these videos, I started making them because I wanted people to see what our state has to offer. There are just so many things in our state that people maybe don't know about. You know, there's the Tug Valley Chamber of Commerce that's made out of coal, a whole building made out of coal. You know, we have the newest national park in the country that they're currently expanding and building all kinds of resorts and everything. And what's incredible about our state, again, is that our stock is up. People are taking notice. And I believe that you don't have to leave West Virginia to build your career, to reach your goals, to reach your dreams. You can do that right here. And what I love about that is that community, because you, again, know that community. You are part of that community. Maybe you don't even realize all the connections that you have, that you've developed over your lifetime right here in this community. But those connections have been made. and you don't have to leave. You don't have to be that small fish in a big pond. You know, maybe you feel like you have outgrown the area. Maybe that just means it's time to try something new in that area. Maybe you're ready for that next step. Maybe you're ready to take that path forward, to get connected, to help, to do your job, but also to help the community. I think that growing up, I know I felt this way. I thought to myself, okay, I have to graduate. I have to get a job. I have to get a family together, all that, you know? And that's what is going to be success. But I've learned since then, there's so much more to that. Being part of something, feeling like you've made a difference, and being part of the community, being able to give back to the community is something you can be proud of. It's something that you can do your job, you can build your career, you can have all those things, those goals that you've been wanting to reach. But add on to that sense of pride, that sense of community, that big sense of being part of something greater than yourself. And that's why I love West Virginia. To the business leaders here, thank you so much for pouring into our students. It's so important. I urge you to keep making those connections, because those connections that are made, those connections could be what makes a student decide that they want to keep that connection they've made with you all through school. So whenever they get out of school, maybe they'll be an employee. Maybe they'll be someone that works right alongside with you. And those connections are so vital. And to the students that are here today, I can tell you that I was sitting in the same place a little longer ago than I like to think about, but I had the whole world in front of me and I had no clue what I wanted to do. But I can tell you that no matter what you want to do, if you set your mind to it and you make those goals, I promise you that if you stick around in West Virginia, you can not only achieve those goals and achieve those dreams, but you can be part of something. They talked about that hope. And I believe that, again, West Virginia is on the rise. People have taken notice. We have a lot to offer. You can drive to most major cities in the East Coast within one day from West Virginia. So you can get anywhere you want to go. But right here in West Virginia, you can step outside and you can go out in nature within like a 5 to 10 minute drive, no matter where you are at, excuse me, no matter where you are at in our state. And that is what is incredible about West Virginia. So thank you all for being here, and I appreciate you having me speak today. And I hope that those of you here today will continue to pour into the students. And students, I hope that I see you doing stuff like this one day, because I really believe that each of you have inside of you the ability to reach your dreams and to make a difference. Thank you all.